A migraine is usually preceded by a stiffness in the back of my neck. My whole head feels pressurized, and it can last anywhere from 6 hours to 2 or 3 days.
Roxanne Steiny has been suffering from migraines for the past 6 years. She has tried several conventional methods of treatment without relief. Roxanne now hopes that a 5,000-year-old system of medicine called Kayakalpa will help her where she feels Western medicine has failed her. Roxanne Steiny began getting migraine headaches when she was 31 years old. For 6 years, these headaches have become increasingly frequent and incapacitating.
I get a lot of mental confusion. I can't think clearly at all. I can't focus. And I always get a pain behind my left eyeball. It's just a pressure pain, like my eyeball's being pushed from the inside out. And then I get nausea, and sometimes I vomit, sometimes I don't. Dizzy.
More than 26 million Americans suffer from the neurologic disorder of migraine headaches, according to the American Medical Association. 15 to 20% of migraine sufferers experience visual and other disturbances about 15 minutes before the head pain. Migraines preceded by an aura are called classic migraines.
I went to my doctor because they were like headaches I had never had before. They did a CAT scan. Everything was clear, but I was told I have what's called classic migraines.
Every day brings on the fear that a migraine might creep up and derail her from her work as a consultant for a web-based sales company. Roxanne and her husband, artist J.T. Steiny, live in Los Angeles. They were married 9 years ago.
My husband was friends with my boss at the time.
I was going there to go out to lunch with her old boss.
She did a little matchmaking, my boss, and I persevered and went after him.
And then finally we went out and we had a decent time, and then we went out again and again.
He just would send me painted cards and beautiful notes in the mail almost every day. Very romantic.
The severity of Roxanne's migraines can be totally incapacitating, and a recent headache put her in the hospital.
About a month ago, I was at a party for my cousin, wasn't drinking, and I'm noticing I'm getting a headache, and it's getting really bad. So I left there, came home, I was vomiting, and I was so uncomfortable and so dizzy, and I just decided I have to find out what's going on. So my husband took me to Cedars-Sinai, to the emergency room. I was admitted. They ran a CAT scan, and I was fine. It was clear. They put fluids in me via IV, and then gave me Dilaudid, which is a heavy narcotic, and then gave me anti-nausea med, and ran it through the IV. And within moments of receiving the Dilaudid, of course, I had no headache. I felt no pain after that.
My regular doctor gave me a sample of a drug called Imitrex, and he said that I could try that, and there's great results. He put a lot of his patients on it, and it was like 90% effective, and that I should give it a try.
But after reading the Imitrex literature, Roxanne refused the drug.
The insert said anyone with a family history of strokes or diabetes or heart attacks was advised to not take it. And my whole mother's side of the family, they have diabetes, they've had strokes, and they've had a heart attack. It frightened me enough that I wasn't interested in taking it.
Right now, I've switched from Tylenol with codeine to Darvocet, which is a pretty heavy-duty narcotic. I don't want to rely on such a heavy narcotic and put my liver and my kidney through the ordeal of processing these every time I get migraines.
That episode in the emergency room had a profound effect on Roxanne's perspective.
I want to get the drugs and the toxins and everything else out of me and try another way. So I just decided when I got out of the hospital, I was going to look into various treatments that would be sort of more Eastern-oriented and less medicinal.
Fearful of the long-term effect of using narcotics, Roxanne has decided to look for an alternative solution.
I'm ready for a change. I'm ready for a different type of life, for a more natural route in healing.
Roxanne Steiny has suffered from classic migraines for the past 6 years. Her headaches are severe and frequent, and they are disrupting her life. She has been treated with everything from aspirin to powerful narcotics. She hopes to find a solution, not just a temporary cure for the symptoms. A friend suggested that Roxanne try a Hindu treatment, a form of Ayurvedic medicine called Kayakalpa.
I went on the internet and looked at their website and acquainted myself with Ayurvedic, talked to a few people that were more familiar with it, and read a book on it actually, and it seemed interesting and it seemed to make sense. It was all about balance and how your body gets out of balance, and I thought I'd give it a go. I imagined it would be very spiritual and peaceful and nurturing, just very healing. I was just hoping to rid myself of the cycle that it seemed I'd gotten into. It was debilitating. It was interfering with my life, my work, everything. I just couldn't take it anymore. So I just wanted an end to that. So I was very hopeful that this would be it.
Roxanne has made an appointment to see Dr. Ram Pandey and his partner, Dr. Sophia Ali. Dr. Ram Pandey is the director of the Kayakalpa International Siddhashram Retreat in Canada. Doctors Pandey and Ali also spend part of the year seeing patients in Los Angeles. Their specialty is Kayakalpa medicine. Dr. Pandey has studied and practiced traditional Indian medicine for over 30 years. He learned the ancient traditions from his own father.
My father is a giant, practitioner of Kayakalpa, living embodiment of Kayakalpa. He always was full of youth, vigor, and vitality.
In Hindi, Kaya means body and Kalpa means transformation. The goal of the Kayakalpa treatment is to cure degenerative diseases and to ensure longevity.
We're not just talking body as in the physical body. When we say bodies, we mean body, mind, and psyche, which we take to be an integrated whole person. And Kalpa means transmutation or transformation. Basically, taken together, the two words Kaya Kalpa mean personal transformation or transmuting the state of your body, mind, and psyche from one state to another state, from ill to well.
See, like here, there are 27 aspects.
Roxanne has decided to try a Kayakalpa treatment. This is the first step in her search for a non-narcotic treatment to relieve her headaches. Dr. Pandey begins his diagnosis by asking Roxanne to answer precise questions about her health and her life.
We gave her an initial consultation, which is basically a multiple choice questionnaire, which deals with her physical qualities or signs, such as her hair, nails, teeth, everything that is physical in a person. Her emotional state of being. She's a woman, so there are certain questions that are particular to women, such as their menstrual cycle, when was their first period, have they had any children? All of these questions are addressed.
In the Kayakalpa system of medicine, the body corresponds to the water element, the mind to air, and the psyche to fire. The symptoms of diseases are believed to be outward manifestations of underlying imbalances. When the elements are in harmony, health and longevity result.
For example, sleep. The air column answer would say light, tend towards insomnia. The fire column would say go to sleep easily, wake up lightly, feeling alert. And the water column would say easy to fall asleep and difficulty in getting up. So depending on her answer, it would fall into one of the three columns. In Roxanne's case, she had a very high ratio of the air element imbalance. We believe the first step in healing anybody is to bring that person into self-knowledge or self-awareness. So with that in view, we say, listen, Roxanne, here's what you answered, and here's how we view these elements in the human body.
So we take that in consideration and check what is normal, what is abnormal. Now let's see, we have arrived here in your case, the imbalance predominant is air. attain an optimum metabolic state, somehow we have to bring a harmony and balance between growth and decay.
The air element is associated with the mind. Because she's a lot more into her mind and all her answers give those clues as well, we explain to her what is causing the imbalance. And then we explain to her how we're going to address that imbalance.
Part of Roxanne's ongoing treatment will be in the form of pills, the herb and mineral compounds that form the medicine of Kayakalpa. Every other year, Dr. Pandey travels to Chennai, India to order and inspect the supply of herbal medicines for his practice. Here, at IMCOP, the Indian Medical Practitioners Cooperative Pharmacy, he orders his supply of herbs, pills, and oils for the months to come. Created according to ancient traditions, Kayakalpa preparations undergo intensive purification processes that render them extremely durable. The ingredients are sealed in clay pots and heated to extreme temperature in earthen pits. Although herbal compounds and supplements such as these are widely used throughout the world, they are not tested or approved by the U.S. Food and Drug Administration for medicinal use. Dr. Pandey reports that he has used these herbal compounds in his treatment of over 10,000 patients. Roxanne hopes the Kayakalpa treatment can help her conquer 6 years of chronic, debilitating migraines. Roxanne is about to receive a treatment of Kayakalpa, the ancient art of Indian medicine, in the hopes of curing her migraines. Her treatment will be given by doctors Ram Pandey and Sophia Ali. Both are practitioners of Kayakalpa medicine.
In our philosophy and in our theory, the nose is the door to the brain and consciousness, because the nose has the only neurons in our entire body that are actually exposed to the environment.
The oil-based nose drops Dr. Ali gives Roxanne contain licorice root, cinnamon, and cardamom, along with a mixture of other herbs. They are used to clear the sinuses and revitalize the breath and soothe the central nervous system.
It feels like a warm, oily substance in your nose, and it's a little uncomfortable. It's dripping down the back of your throat, and it tastes terrible.
The nose drops are made up of about 59 different herbs. They need to be hot, sharp, and penetrating because they cause the ama, or metabolic impurity, to drip out through the nose. This is crucial for Roxanne's therapy because Roxanne is suffering from migraine. I mean, we do nose drops in every session, but in her case, it is supremely important that we apply the nose drops.
Dr. Pandey has prepared a paste that is applied on Roxanne's entire body. It is composed of 36 herbs, barks, roots, leaves, and flowers, including lotus, saffron, and sandalwood, which are warmed in a base of oil, milk, and grains.
In our system, we consider the skin as the mother of all the senses. Since it's the largest organ of the body, it is the largest organ for eliminating impurities. So the paste that we apply dries on the body, and it draws out all the impurities from all the layers of the skin. And when we remove it, we exfoliate that top layer of dead cells of the skin. And after that, the same time as it's drawing out, it's opening the pores, it's giving elasticity to the skin.
Inhale from the nose, hold, contract your pelvis, and let it go from the mouth.
Kayakalpa medical practitioners believe the individual has specific on the body where energy is blocked. When Dr. Pandey rubs the paste on Roxanne, these points are stimulated. He encourages Roxanne to breathe deeply and push the air out through her mouth. This breathing, sometimes referred to as the breath of fire, will help Roxanne overcome any physical pain that may arise. When Dr. Pandey and Dr. Ali reach the solar plexus area, Roxanne reacts.
The sensation I felt more than the paste itself was the vigorous rubbing into my body, and it was extremely uncomfortable. I asked them to hold back, and he told me not to tell him to stop because there were blocks where I was feeling pain and he had to work them out.
Roxanne is able to overcome the sensation, and they finish applying the paste. Roxanne is instructed to relax and breathe deeply for half an hour while the paste dries. Roxanne's skin is completely exfoliated by the paste and is replenished by an emulsion of oil and yogurt that nourishes and tightens the tissues. The warm eardrops, which are oil-based, are applied to clear the auricular passage. Again, Dr. Pandey locates the numerous energy points on Roxanne's face, neck, and head, and steadily works on them until they have released their toxins and are no longer sensitive. After this phase, he uses the oil and yogurt emulsion to nourish and revitalize Roxanne's hair. Roxanne is then placed in a steamer for 15 minutes. The steam will open the pores and allow her to sweat out any remaining toxins.
After she had gone through the sweating and the impurities had collected in her gastrointestinal tract, then those collected impurities were then flushed out by giving her an herbal enema.
Next, Roxanne is submerged in a tub of warm water and milk and performs kumbhaka, a Kayakalpa breathing technique thought to bottle the life force by holding the breath. At other times, she performs bastika, which means bellows.
The old days, they used to have the bellows to make the fire go high. Well, the same principle is applied in our body. And it's also one of the few functions of the body that can be controlled voluntarily. In India, the yogis and the masters of this tradition were very wise, and they realized that you can actually, by changing your pattern of breath, you can actually affect certain changes in the body. That breathing enkindles a very primordial force in our philosophy, which we call Kundalini. Kundalini literally means coiled, a coiled energy. A high, very high voltage energy that completely burns away all the imbalances, no matter what disease it may be. It may be a migraine, it may be chronic fatigue. This energy is so powerful that it transforms you from one state to another state.
I was holding one nostril and breathing out of the other one, breathing really, really, really quickly, and I felt very dizzy and lightheaded. It's a very heady experience.
In a final phase of the treatment, a bowl is filled with milk and 76 herbs and allowed to drip on Roxanne's forehead or her third eye in the Kayakalpa system. This constant stream on the pituitary gland is thought to clear all the impurities from the central nervous system, affecting breath, mind, sleep, and dreams.
I felt very vulnerable because my eyes were covered, my ears were covered, my body was naked and submerged in water.
The treatment concludes after 4.5 hours. Roxanne is given a supply of herbs to take for the next month, along with eye and nose drops.
I felt I had some energy that I hadn't had in a while. I felt very light and energetic, and my husband said I had seemed very sort of giddy almost when I came home that night.
Although it was difficult and not always soothing, Roxanne is hopeful that the effect of the treatment will conquer her migraines and let her return to a normal life. After 6 years of suffering with migraine headaches, Roxanne Steiny underwent a Kayakalpa treatment for relief. It has been 1 month since she had the treatment.
I've had fewer headaches, and when I do get them, they're less intense. The severity definitely isn't as bad as before the treatment. I didn't get the actual eye-stabbing dizziness, nausea. I would just get a generalized sort of stress, tension, ache, evenly distributed throughout my head. so it wasn't nearly as intense or uncomfortable as it has been in the past. I felt like almost as though my body had been retrained.
But none of her headaches have been, I don't think, migraines since this. They've all been sort of softer, capable, manageable.
I could not use the eye drops. I tried them for a couple days and they stung, but I have been using the nose drops periodically. And I've been sticking to the herbal regime every morning, every evening, taking all the herbs that I was given.
Right?
Well, they look great, JT.
I think they look excellent.
Well done.
Thank you very much.
All right.
Although she had a difficult time following through on all of the recommendations, in the 4 months since her treatment, Roxanne has been almost completely headache-free.
If my headaches were to come back, I would be open to going again. I would be open to taking the herbs again. Absolutely. I know.
The system was designed to make the person enlightened. That was the whole purpose behind the system, because we asked why health in the first place. What is your purpose of health? Why do you want to be healthy? And the answer was you want to be healthy because you want to be a meaningful person and you want to fulfill a spiritual purpose of being in this life.
It was a lot more work for me, obviously, than just popping a pill. But the end result was that I haven't had real migraines after the treatment. It's great. I'm really grateful to him, and it feels great to know that I'm not going to get these twice a week now. And if I do get them, they're purely manageable, and I can make it go away with a little coffee and a Tylenol or an aspirin, which is great. I'm pleased. This is wonderful.